Hey, welcome back to the Too Fast channel. In today's video, we are on my workbench, my messy workbench here. I field a lot of questions about auto-dimming rearview mirrors and Homelink compatibility, uh, and it's time-consuming to answer the same questions over and over again. So I'm going to make this video to explain the differences in the different versions of Homelink, what they are and are not compatible with, how to identify what version is what, and some other background. And this will be centralized around Homelink that's mounted in rear view mirrors. Since I don't really work with Homelink that's standalone modules, most of this information probably applies in some way, shape, or form. Most likely the versions and what they're compatible with. So let's start with Homelink 3.0 before I get into any testing here. And, Homelink 3.0 has been around, 1990 something or other. I don't know the exact implementation date. And it was in use up to 2012, roughly. It's the phasing in of version 4 varied. So I'm using 2012 as a time frame because there's a lot of vehicles that switched from version 3 to version 4 in 2012, but there were some vehicles that switched earlier and some that switched later. And you can't use one manufacturer as a reference. So let's say BMW, for example. Some BMW models switched to Homelink 4.0 earlier than 2012. Other BMW models switched later than 2012. So there's no solid cutoff date. So now the version 3.0 was usable in the US only up to the 300 megahertz range, which is what most of our garage and gate openers operate on. The main problem with version 3.0 that creates an issue for people is the newer garage door security technologies that came out. And I'm specifically referencing the Liftmaster Security Plus 2.0. So if you have one of those garage door openers that has that technology in it, let's see, that the Security Plus 2.0 garage door openers would have a yellow Learn button. So that's another way to identify if your garage door opener has Security Plus 2.0. So let's assume a scenario. Let's say you have a 2004 BMW, Homelink in your mirror. You've got an older garage door opener that works fine with your Homelink. Let's say your garage door opener fails and you got to get a new one. And you discover that you cannot program your Homelink in your BMW to work with your garage door opener. Most likely, it has a yellow Learn button. It uses Security Plus 2.0, and you've got an issue. So there's several ways to work around that. The easiest way is to purchase the Liftmaster repeater kit, which Liftmaster sells. It's relatively inexpensive. I believe it's the model number 855LM. That allows you, that's a receiver and a remote control that you wire into your new garage door opener, and you take that new remote, program it to your Homelink, and you take that new receiver and you wire it between your garage door opener and your push button that mounts in your garage, and that allows you to use the older Homelink with the newer garage door. So that's the easiest way to overcome that problem, and it runs $30, $40, something like that. Now, what I've seen a lot of people doing is they want to have they don't want to go that route. They want the mirror in their car to control the Security Plus 2.0 garage door. And you can do that, but it requires removal of your mirror, disassembling it. And what you end up having to do is you end up having to purchase a mirror out of a newer BMW, take it apart, take the Homelink module out, and retrofit it into your mirror. And as complex as that may sound, you got a lot of people wanting to go that route. So that's where I field a lot of the questions. And, you know, some of the questions that come up is, oh, I bought this 2014 mirror. It looks just like my 2004 mirror. I put it in my car. It won't work. Yeah, and it's never going to work for you. BMW around the 2012 timeframe, the same time frame they implemented Homelink 4.0, they also changed the communication protocol in most of their cars. And they implemented what it's called LINbus, LINbus. It is a master slave, I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain it, communication system that eliminates a lot of individual wires. So, for example, like we're looking at right here on my workbench here, we're looking at a BMW mirror. You see there's a whole bunch of wires here. And there's 2 wires over here that are hooked up to power and ground. So all these other wires, you've got a reverse gear lockout, you've got positive and negative dimming for your driver's door mirror, you've got positive and negative dimming for the passenger door mirror, power, ground, reverse lockout. So you have a lot of wires. So with a LINbus mirror, a single wire serves the purpose of virtually all of these wires that are on this mirror. It's a two-way communication protocol. I'm not a LINbus expert, so anybody out there who's an expert in it saying, well, you're not using the right terminology. Yeah, probably so. Mirrors that utilize LINbus, you can't just hook them up to power and ground and expect the mirror to work. It won't. The way LINbus is designed is it's looking for a communication over that single wire. The communication is a wake-up command. And that wake-up command is followed by a stay awake command every few milliseconds. So I'm being very broad about my explanation here. So if the LINbus doesn't receive a wake-up command, the mirror will never power up. Some of the other features of the mirror might work, but the actual glass, the electronics in the glass, and the auto dimming are not going to work. Now, I've done this in other videos. I've built a LINbus simulator. The signals that are sent over that wire have been captured and translated and have been programmed to an Arduino module, and that works. But that's another video, and it's way too complicated, and it's not worth the time to do. But wanted to throw that out there. So the LINbus mirror, what is usable out of it is the Homelink module. So, for example, like this mirror right here, this is a Homelink module that's disassembled. This is a version 3.0. This is version 4.0. Now, let's talk about how to identify 3.0 versus 4.0. And first off, there are some mirror cases like this. This is a mirror case that will have a FCC ID etched in the plastic. Most mirrors don't have that. Some of them do. This one does not. Many of them don't. So that's something to keep in mind. You most likely with a BMW mirror, if we're talking BMWs, you're not going to find the FCC ID on the plastic. So you don't bother looking there. Where you might find it, let's take a look at the bracket. So here is a BMW bracket. Now, if we look at this, we've got some part numbers, and you have a date, 6/11. There's no FCC ID on here. So that's something to keep in mind, that with BMW mirrors, finding the FCC ID is not that simple. Most likely, it might be on the inside of the mirror, on the back of the actual mirror glass, or it may not be anywhere that you can find it. And that varies from mirror to mirror. So, for example, let's look at a similar bracket. This has a Ford Motor Company on it, and you can see there's an FCC ID on there. So if you look at the FCC ID and you go all the way to the end, you'll see the very last numeral there is a 3. And that's going to tell you that this particular mirror has Homelink version 3 in it. If this mirror had Homelink version 4, you would see a 4 at the end. So that's one way that you can tell by looking at the outside of a mirror what version Homelink it has. The other way, of course, it requires you buying the mirror and stripping it apart. So if we take a look at the Homelink module, if you look at that chip right in the center, it'll say revision 4.2. That's going to tell you that this is Homelink version 4.2. Now, I've seen 4.0, 4.1, and this one 4.2. I have not seen anything above 4.2, and I don't know if there are any out there. There very well could be. I just, haven't seen any myself. So this is the module you would want to retrofit into your mirror to make it compatible with a Security Plus 2.0 garage door opener. And you would be replacing this one. Now this one is basically identical to this. It's just the plastic is taken off of it, but it's virtually identical. So you can pull one out and put another one in. Now where you run into some issues is you're going to want to be very careful about what mirror you buy to get a donor Homelink module. So let's take a look at this one. Now you'll notice this one looks very similar. I mean, you can put the one on the right in the mirror that this one came out of. But you'll notice the buttons are different, the LED is different, the placement of the wiring harness is different, this little plug is different, and on top of that, the wiring on this one is different. So this will not work in this one and vice versa. You have to repin these to get them to work. So that's something to take note of. With BMW, you're looking for the little red buttons with the little LED right there. This one, probably don't want to mess around with that. Another issue that I run into all the time is people saying, well, the model is this. So if we look at this mirror casing right here, you'll see right there it says GNTX 209. That's not the model number of this mirror. That is a Gentex family model number. So this type of mirror, this particular one, this is an older generation mirror. This mirror is used in a lot of different vehicles. And it came in a lot of different flavors. Auto dimming only, auto dimming with Homelink only, auto dimming with Homelink and a compass, or auto dimming Homelink and an alarm LED, or auto dimming Homelink alarm LED and a compass. So it's not a specific model number. And on top of that, you could get one out of a Land Rover and it's not going to be the same as the BMW. So Land Rover, for example, doesn't have auto dimming side mirrors. So you won't have the wiring on the circuit board for that, whereas the BMW you would, and so on and so on. So that's the numbers on the casing are an identifier for a family of Gentex mirrors. It's not an actual part number that would allow you to identify what works in your car. So let's see. We've got another mirror here. This is another Ford Motor Company mirror. So it came out of a Ford Motor Company product, one of their cars, one of their vehicles that Ford owns. So you see we've got an FCC ID on that. It's very similar to the other bracket. Now, what I wanted to highlight here is you'll see that we've got a Gentex GNTX 480. Again, that's a family of mirrors. Ford uses them, Land Rover uses them, Rover uses them, BMW uses them, and so on. There's at least a few more other manufacturers that use this family of mirror in different configurations. So in this GNTX 480, you'll find Homelink modules like this with the red button, and you'll find, well, with the red button like that, and then you'll find them with these little white buttons. So that's something to keep in mind. Be very specific about what you're looking at as a donor project to retrofit your mirror. Make sure it came, if you're trying to retrofit your BMW mirror, make sure what you buy physically came out of a BMW. Now, the identification process gets a little bit more convoluted than that even. As we move up in the technology, for example, let's see, this is out of like a 2022, 2023. Let's see if we can see that. Now you see there's an FCC ID on there, but you look at the last, there is no number at the end of this. It's it says the last digits are CD, and I don't know what that's supposed to represent. So what I'm holding in my hand is actually a Homelink version 5. But even looking at the FCC ID that is etched into this casing, there's no 5 at the end of it. Now it's pretty obvious that this one would be version 5 because this particular mirror has Bluetooth. So if you come across a mirror that has Bluetooth in it, it's going to be version 5. The other way to tell Homelink version 5 mirrors is there are visual indicators in the mirror glass itself. Well, I'll demonstrate that later when we get to looking at that particular mirror, but on these modules, there's a little LED on the bottom. With Homelink 5, your LED is actually going to be in the mirror glass. Those mirrors also can receive status updates from newer garage door openers. So it can tell you if the garage door is open or closed with an indicator on the screen. Now the Bluetooth enabled ones actually use an app, a Homelink Connect app that you connect to your phone and you program the mirror that way. I'll demonstrate that later in this video as well. Let's see. So let's talk about Security Plus 2.0. Like I've been rambling on about Security Plus 2.0 garage door openers, you need a Homelink version 4 or better. So 4 or 5, and it will work. Now what I wanted to do was I wanted to demonstrate this. So what I have here, I've got a Kentmore. This is a Homelink tester, a device used for testing Homelink and functionality of remotes in your Homelink. And I wanted to show you how everything works here. So if we take a look at this particular, this is Homelink version 3.0 here. You can see if I press a button, you see the LED comes on. You'll also see that LED come on right there. Now that green, when I press this button, tells me this has been programmed. So what I want to do is I'm going to clear this, and you probably already all know this, but to clear a Homelink module like this, you hold the outer 2 buttons, buttons 1 and 3, down, and you wait for the LED to flash rapidly and then stop, and that will clear all the codes that are stored in your Homelink module. I always hold this until the LED stops flashing. Okay, so now when we press button 1, you can see we get the red light over here. That indicates that it is receiving a signal from the button, but the button is not programmed. Button 2 and button 3. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to program a regular garage door opener. So any garage door opener built from the 90s up until about 2011. So I guess you could say it's just Security Plus. And I'm going to use the remote control that comes with this Kentmore tester. So we're going to hold down button 1 and we're going to wait for that LED to start slowly flashing. And then we're going to hold our remote control fairly close to it. And then when the LED starts flashing quickly, that means it's learning your remote control. I always wait until it stops flashing. Okay. Now when we press this button, you'll see this green light come on. So that means the Homelink learned the remote control and it is transmitting a programmed copy of this remote control. All right, so let's move on. Now this Liftmaster remote, this is a Security Plus 2.0 Liftmaster remote control. I'm going to do the same thing on button number 2. I'm going to hold this down until the LED starts flashing. See, we've got the red light over there. Now we're going to hold down the remote. Now what you're going to notice is this LED is never going to flash rapidly. It's just going to sit there and eventually it will stop flashing altogether. That basically tells you that your Homelink is not compatible with Security Plus 2.0. So regardless of how long you do this or how long you hold the buttons down, it's not going to make any difference. It is not going to learn this remote control. It's not compatible. On that same note, if you look over here, you'll notice there's no lights lighting up on my tester. My tester cannot recognize Security Plus 2.0. Okay, so that's the Security Plus 2.0. So let's take this a step further. Let's say you live in Europe or some other country where your garage door openers operate on 433 megahertz. Well, like I mentioned, these are only valid up to 300, 315 or something like that megahertz, or up to 390. I guess it kind of depends on what you're working with. They do not operate above 400 megahertz. So this is a European remote control for garage doors or gates. It operates on 433 megahertz. So you'll also notice my Homelink tester does not recognize this remote because its frequency is above what is designed to recognize. So we're going to do the same test with this 433 megahertz remote with this Homelink. Going to use button 2 again because button 2 is still not programmed. You'll see it's flashing red over here, which indicates it has no programming to it. And you'll see that this Homelink version 3 is not going to learn the code from this 433 megahertz remote control. And yes, this remote control does work. I verified that it is transmitting the way it's supposed to. So regardless of how many times I do this or how long I hold it, it's not going to work. All right, so that is the Homelink version 3, what it can do and what it can't do. So let's change this out. Let's go ahead and remove this 3.0 module. And let's hook up the version 4.2 module that I have. Let's verify that this module is working. Okay, red light down there, red light here, red light here. So this is working, it is transmitting, and there is no programming. So let's start with our standard remote control. I'm going to hold our button down. All right, it's slow blinking. Hold our button remote, and now it's fast blinking. Okay, so is it programmed? Yes, see how we've got the green light over here? Now, one thing I should notice is, since I have worked with a lot of version 4s of Homelink, 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, I've noticed some differences between those 3 versions. One of them, like this one, is 4.2. Now, when I press this button down, this LED doesn't blink. On some of the other ones I've worked with, that LED, when I press it in, it will slow blink when it's transmitting. This one is not slow blinking at all. But it is transmitting. We can see that it is programmed and it is transmitting. So that's one thing I noticed, but I can't tell you specifically which version it did that in, 4.0 or 4.1, because I just don't remember. All right, let's move on to button 2. This is the Security Plus 2.0 remote control. Let's repeat this same process. Got the red blinking over here indicating that button is not programmed. Okay, we got a slow blink. Okay, you can see that this Homelink 4.0 is accepting the Security Plus 2.0 remote. It's learning the code. Okay, now when we press the button, you're going to see we got a fast blink when we press the button. You'll also notice nothing's showing up over here. So I've verified that obviously this does accept the code. It is programmed. It does work. But this doesn't give me any indicator because it's not compatible with Security Plus 2.0. So this is the expected response you need out of your Homelink to program a Security Plus 2.0 remote to your mirror. Now let's do a further test. Now, one of the things I should note, if you are curious about what Homelink will work outside of the country on 433 megahertz, well, there's virtually no information available that tells you specifically what's going on. So I'm going to tell you. Homelink says, I'll quote them verbatim, Homelink is compatible with radio frequency devices operating between 288 and 433 megahertz. Select 2007 and newer vehicles are compatible up to 433 megahertz. I'm not 100% sure that that information is accurate. It's very vague, and it doesn't tell you any specifics. Select 2007 and newer vehicles are compatible up to 433 megahertz. I can tell you for a fact that 2007 and 2008, 9, 10, 11, none of those are compatible with 433 megahertz. Period. They do not work. I've tested them all. I don't know if Homelink is referring to maybe Homelink modules manufactured for the European market. I don't know. The information is too vague. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to program button number 3 here, and I'm going to show you that this Homelink 4.2 module is not compatible with 433 megahertz. Now this module came out of a 2014 BMW. And like I showed you earlier, it is a 4.2 version of Homelink. The information that, let's go ahead and try this. And you see we're getting basically no response out of this. Now I've tried this numerous times. This isn't my first time I've tried this, so it's the first time I've done it on video. Now you can see that it is not going to learn this code. So whatever they meant by that statement, or whatever Homelink meant by that statement, is it's not clear to me. So a Homelink version 4, at least up to version 4.2. Maybe there's versions after this that are compatible. I don't know, because I haven't seen anything past 4.2. This is the highest version of 4.0 that I've seen. You know, and version 4.0 was available, oh, how far up into the future? They started phasing that out around 2015, 2016, when version 5 started coming on in the market. I first saw the version 5 Homelinks in 2017 vehicles. So it's very possible that some of these newer mirrors might have a newer version of 4.0 that does work, but yeah, I can't verify that. So that's where we're at with this. I've got to rearrange my video setup here because I need my iPhone to show you how the version 5 Homelink works. So I'm going to make some changes, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so I've got a Homelink version 5.0 mirror here on the workbench. Like I showed previously, this one has Bluetooth, so we're going to use the Homelink Connect app to program the Homelink in this particular mirror. This one is out of a 2021 or 2022 vehicle. So to program this, whether you're using an Android or an Apple device, you go to the associated store and download the Homelink Connect app. I'm not going to show everything about the app. You'll see on this particular screen right here, I've actually got 2 mirrors programmed to the app. I've got the first mirror is in my car. The mirror on my bench right here is just called Homelink version 5. When you go through the setup routine, you can name the mirror, and obviously you can have multiple mirrors in the app. So the one with the green light is the one right here that's on. So we're going to do setup. And on this screen here, we can see that the app is telling me it's connected via Bluetooth. This is an info screen. And then down here are our buttons, 1, 2, and 3. And down here, this will tell you if that particular button is already programmed. In this case, there is no programming on any of these buttons. So let's start with button 1 in the app. This is a warning message. Talked about making sure you've got new batteries in your transmitter. Your garage door is going to open and close during this procedure. Okay, and now our next step here would be to press one of our buttons. In this case, we're going to press button 1. And then we're going to take a remote control, and we're going to start with the old school remote control, which most people have for their garage doors. And we're going to hold the button in, and you'll see that it learned the code. And normally when you would press the button, your garage door is going to open, close, what have you. So we can go on. And at this screen, you can actually test the Homelink. So if we press this, it will actually send the code to your garage door, and it will open and close. And you can do that 3 times. Since none of these are programmed in my garage door, it's not going to open. You'll also see down here that it says programmed. So button 1 is programmed. It accepted the code from the standard Security Plus opener. So let's go to button number 2. You see it says it's not programmed. And we're going to go and use our Security Plus 2.0 remote control. So let's do this. We'll press button 2. You see it confirmed. And now we'll press and hold our Security Plus 2.0. And it learned the remote control. And then we can test that. Now you can do that 3 times. All right, so that's the Security Plus 2.0. So let's go to button number 3, and let's go to our 433 megahertz remote. So this remote, these batteries are almost dead in this remote. I need to put fresh batteries in it. Plus this remote's kind of old. It's a used remote that I found on eBay for doing testing. This will work. It will take a little bit longer because of the conditions of the battery. So let's go ahead and program this remote to the mirror. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, or the batteries don't completely die on me. So we're going to go to button number 3. And now we're ready to and there we go. 433 megahertz learned. And then of course we can test it by sending out the code. And that's how you program a Homelink version 5 mirror, one that has integrated Bluetooth. Now there are versions of these mirrors on the market that do not have Bluetooth. Those would just have the 3 Homelink buttons, and you would program those the same way you would any other Homelink equipped mirror by pressing and holding in the button until you get a display on the screen. But we did it with the app because it's probably easier for you to see with the app. So the before we move on, mirror's actually dimmed right now, so we can't see anything. Let's lift it up a little bit. So you can see, hopefully you can see. Trying to get this so you can see. You can see this is, okay, that's a good angle. When I press a button, you get a display on the screen. So, and button 2 was the Security Plus 2.0. You see how that blinks fast? Button 1 is just the regular Security Plus, and it doesn't blink. So we've got different indicators. The 433 megahertz just is solid. So that's a that's another indicator that you're dealing with a version 5. Homelink is the indicators in the mirror glass. Okay, so what's our takeaway? Our takeaway is that if you want to use Security Plus 2.0 garage door opener with your Homelink, you need at least Homelink 4.0 or higher. If you want to take one of these Homelink mirrors from the US and use it in Europe on a 433 megahertz system, you're going to need at least, well, version 5. Again, I could only test up to version 4.2. So I don't know if there's 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6. I don't know if any of those exist because I haven't seen any of them. So it's possible that there might be some newer version of the 4.0 Homelink that will work with 433, but for 4.0, 4.1, and 4.2 do not. So that's pretty much it. That's the rundown of the different versions of Homelink, how they function, what you get with them, what you don't get with them. And that's going to wrap up this video. It's been longer than I expected it to be, but a lot of information to share. Hopefully it was helpful in some way, shape, or form. If it was, leave me a like down in the description. Let me know that it helped you out in some way. All right, catch you in the next video.